Hello, villagers, and welcome to episode 2 of Consciously Healed podcast. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Consciously Healed is a version of actually just another platform connected to She is the Village. She is the Village is a nonprofit that is dedicated to assisting single mothers with the woes of motherhood. We assist them in areas such as transportation, food, self-care, therapy, and also rent and mortgage assistance. And that's what, of course, made me want to create Consciously Healed because, of course, single mothers, we do need help. I'm a single mom, as you guys know, if you have been watching. And I knew we needed to create and strengthen our village again, which is why I created, of course, Consciously Healed. There is a shift happening, and I felt we just need to talk about the shift. There's a lot that's out there to talk about, and I just want to talk about the shift. So, to stay on point, the topic today we're going to discuss is what it looks like to function on autopilot and what it looks like to become more self aware to get yourself out of autopilot. The reason I wanted to talk about that autopilot, I actually had watched Matrix Resurrections, the one that came out in 2021. I'm a huge Matrix fan. Like, I just love breaking it down to life. But Matrix Resurrections, like, the thing I liked about it was to show that even when we do the work, to get out of being distracted by the world and focus so hard on trying to get things back in alignment with what we wanted to, our life purpose is, it's really easy to get distracted. And what the Matrix Resurrections was showing is, hey, yes, you can get out, but it's so easy to get distracted and get back in. And I like that it showed just the upgrade of anytime you reach like a new height, a new level, there's a new level of resistance, kind of like superhero movies. Like the superhero never meets the villain until they realize they have powers. And then when they get stronger, then they meet a secondary villain that's even stronger. It's just like that. Um, but back to the topic on autopilot. I really want to just discuss three topics of being on autopilot and what it looks like. And if you resonate with any of these, drop in the comments, let me know, tell me your story too. Because I want to start pinpointing these things so we can just start to learn. We have to take care of ourselves first and foremost before we can do anything, before we can show up in this world as anybody. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to be on autopilot. And so autopilot can look like, just monotonous days. For instance, the first point is monotonous days where you're just doing your tasks day in and day out. You're not even thinking of them. Like you're just getting up, getting yourself together, taking the kids to school, making sure they have breakfast, get back home, shower, go to work, get off, pick them up from daycare, cook, clean, start all over again. Those are the monotonous daily routines. You don't even think about them. Like you pretty much just do them secondhand. And it's pretty much just day and night for you. Sometimes you don't even remember the day of the week or the month that it even is. You're like, oh, whoa, July already? To me, July just came in and it's just about to go as well. But that's what a monotonous days look like when you're on autopilot. Also, overlook self-care. Overlook self-care. You may skip your skincare routine. You may skip your 30-minute walk. You just are skipping the things that you would take care of yourself. You either give that care to someone else or you pretty much either just zone out and being on autopilot. And also, mindless tasks. Mindless tasks. Have you ever just been in thought, like you've been doing the dishes and thinking about the worries of the day or what you already have to do tomorrow? Like you're already looking at tomorrow before you even completed everything for today. Mine just on overload. You may be finishing one basket of laundry, but it's five that need to be done. But just because you got a little break, not really, but just a little one, you sit there and you do laundry and you don't even think about anything. Like it's almost like a woosah moment. Um, Another one is emotional. Point two is emotional disconnection. This is how you know you're on autopilot. When we're being emotionally disconnected in our relationships, it's like we're not really even engaging with people. Listening is a task, and it can be difficult when you have a lot going on. It's like you're listening to people, but do we really hear what people are saying? Like people are saying one thing, but if you start getting the art of listening, you'll really see people are saying different things. People are talking about what they're going through and the help that they need. Some people aren't good for asking for help, but through their speech, you can hear that they are asking for it. And that just comes through the art of listening you know? But when we're on autopilot, we're presently, like we're there physically, but we're just not presently in the mind there. We're just there. And we catch bits and pieces and we'll jump back in like, oh, yeah, yeah. Or repeat the last thing that the person said to show that we were listening, although we know we really weren't. That's another sign of being an autopilot. Um, Let me see. The lack of personal fulfillment in neglecting relationships and suppressed emotions. A lot of times we don't deal with emotions. Like as a single mother, I'll bring it up. Like when I'm dealing with my child's father, it is just so much easier for me to just say, yeah, sure, huh? Yeah, okay, yep, let's do it like that. I don't have the energy to argue. I just I don't have the energy to argue. It's already draining. I was drained and I would just go with flow. Even if I didn't agree, I just didn't want to argue. It just wasn't worth it at the time. So the suppressed emotions was I was just allowing myself to be disrespected because I just didn't have the energy to stand up for myself. And the quicker he could be condescending and demeaning, the quicker we could get it over with. Like, no. But I was because I was burnt out and tired. Being on autopilot, that's what it looks like. And thirdly, just being in survival mode. You make survival mode decisions. Now, I know a lot of us can attest to making survival mode decisions. And a lot of it's not even in part to our fault. you know, our generation we just weren't taught financial literacy. We're learning it like now. It wasn't instilled in us coming up. So, of course, we made the mistakes on living paycheck to paycheck, not setting aside money, just not knowing the basics of financial literacy. But when you are in survival mode and you're making survival mode decisions, you're being very reactive instead of proactive. Like you're already on the verge of a breakdown anyway. So of course you're just being reactive to things that happen. Makes us have like a short temper where we don't even want to deal with it. It's just like, okay, what is the quickest way just to get this done so I can take one thing off my plate? Very reactive instead of proactive. Then we have thoughtful, intentional responses. That's what we want to switch to instead of having the reactive responses. We want to switch to having thoughtful, intentional responses. And, that kind of comes from letting the situation happen, then making a judgment on how you're going to react instead of the situation happening, you not thinking it through, and then you react. You miss a lot of cues by doing that. But, when you're on autopilot, it's so much going on in your head, you don't even have time to process. All right. So, some short term solutions to being in survival mode, having emotional disconnect, and also just being on autopilot. You can start by being more present and intentional about your days. So, those three topics short term solution, it just immediate needs and convenience. Immediate needs and convenience. This is how we make short term decisions in autopilot based on immediate needs and gratification instead of looking for how it's going to benefit us in the long term. So, of course, it causes overwhelm and burnout, physical and emotional burnout, which, of course, leads us back to being on autopilot. Now, back to the point of what things you can do. You can be intentional in your daily routines, meaning have you some daily affirmations. I say about 5 to 10 of them every morning when I wake up and look at myself dead in the face in the mirror. And then, I get, oh, okay, well, what are some of the things you say? I say, hey, I make it happen. I don't make excuses. I make it happen. Positivity is my power. I try hard things every day. I tell the truth, especially to myself. I think like there is no box. I learn something new daily. Success is my duty. Positivity is my impact. Kindness is my character. Now that is called the Genius Creed. I actually learned that from Billy Jean. I'm part of a masterclass that I'm taking with him. And ever since I've been saying this creed, pretty much since May, I've been getting things done a lot better. And I really do try hard things. At the end of the day, I notice what take action. I've been noticing that's the thing that most of us fail to do. It's just the taking action. And of course, we're burnt out and overwhelmed and on autopilot, and we can't take action, which is why I wanted to make this episode to talk about how we can calm down the mind. How can we stop everyday activities that we are doing to finally just calm down the mind? All we have to do is calm down the mind. Once you're on that blank state, then you can start to build your thoughts back up in a way that's conducive to you instead of just handling things as they come along. So, intentional daily routines, those affirmations that I do. I journal every night. I go through my day, I reflect. I see how I showed up to myself in my day. I reflect, I write it down. And when I get to the end of the week, I just look back. I look back at where I started, what my thoughts were, some of the experiences I had, how I could have handled it better. Maybe I did handle it awesome. So I give myself a pat on the back. Like we have to give ourselves grace and give yourself a pat on the back when you do have a win. Remember, those small wins, they add up to big ones. Small wins add up to big ones. We don't always have to be ecstatic and overly happy when you have one big win. Little small wins, they add up. And honestly, they keep you going. Every day is a struggle. And it doesn't have to be. We just make it that way. And I'm trying to change our mindset in a way where we don't think every day is a struggle. We can get into the mindset of knowing that every day is a blessing. Okay. So also, as I said, journaling, or you might read a book. You could take a bath. I have a friend, she does cleansing salts. Her name is Massey, and her company is called Chic Habits. And she does cleansing salts for you to relax after your day, clear your aura. We always know we carry around energies. When you interact with the world, you bring those energies back home to you and your children. So the cleansing salts, cleanse your aura. Cleanse your house, cleanse your aura, cleanse your kids' auras, cleanse it out. If you're into that, check her out. Chic Habits, CHIC Habits. Also, gratitude journal. Tracy Speaks, Miss Tracy. She has an awesome journal. If you want to find her, she's on the VIP social marketplace as Tracy Speaks, and you can look up her journals. I actually have to get another one. I finished the gratitude journal. It's like a 12-week journal. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to order it again. It is awesome. Also, scheduled self-care. That's the other point that I would like to make. Having scheduled self-care, like a facial routine, your body routine, a 30-minute workout. Start sticking to those things. Try to do that daily. Stick to those simple little routines because they build consistency. It starts to build mindfulness instead of you operating from a place of, autopilot. You can now start to operate from a place of intention. Set the intention for today. Today, I'm going to be aware. Today I'm going to be in the present moment. Today, when I'm with my children, I am going to pay attention. Today, when I do homework, I'm going to really see how my child learns. Today, when we eat at the table, I'm going to savor every bit of this meal and check in with my children and see how they are doing. Today, when I do my morning routine, I'm going to check in with myself and see how I am doing. Like those things, like we have to bring it back in. We've gotten too much, been fed too much by the world. The thing is, we need to feed the world what we have and stop eating from the world. Eat from yourself, eat from your own plate. All right. And I just spoke about conscious parenting pretty much, mindful playtime with kids, checking in with them emotionally, and model self care and mindfulness with children because you know what? Children learn from what they see. We already know that children learn from what they see. Our parents would say, do as I say, not as I do. And look how that worked out for us. Like children learn from examples. So if they see you being mindful, like if you get really upset, somebody knocked over a cup of juice and it's like, oh my God, pay attention. Instead, it's just like, oh, whoa, you know, accidents do happen. Next time, just pay more attention. Kids be like, what? Mommy wasn't mad. No, mommy was just mindful when I delivered that message to my child. So we're just not always making it seem like our children are a problem. They pick up on that and then they start having self image issues. Let's not pass that off to our children. And lastly, guys, just personal growth reflection. We've already talked about it. Go ahead, do your journals, set some small personal goals for yourself. Like, did I take a shower every day this week? Did I read every day this week? Did I affirm myself every day this week? Like little stuff like that. Don't make it overwhelming because that's how we get burnout. And then, of course, look for support tools and resources, to help you along that path. If you're looking for the path of self discovery, and I don't like to say stress management, I like to alleviate stress. That's what's wrong with us. We always trying to manage things that we don't need anymore. Let's start treating the cause instead of the symptoms. But, tools and resources like this. You found my podcast because you are looking to go into your self awakening journey and higher consciousness and how to be a single mother and survive this world. So, once again, glad that you guys are here with me for episode 2 of Consciously Healed called Autopilot. If you like the content that I've given today, please go ahead, drop a like, drop a comment, contact me, give me some feedback, tell me a topic that you would like to hear me address, or if you just need more guidance into how to be more mindful or alleviate the stress instead of manage the stress. Okay, until next time. Episode 3 will drop next week on Monday. If you guys want to hear specific topics, let me know. But it will always be covering self awakening in the journey to higher consciousness. So, once again, I am Kendra Joy with She is the Village, and this is Consciously Healed Podcast.